Hello, my ghouls and geeks. Welcome back to Podcast for the Recently Released. I'm your host, Lou Stardust.
And I'm your co-host, Joe Matissa.
I'm a little sleepy.
You were sleepy in the last episode, I feel like.
Listen, I've had a real sleepy week. We were supposed to record yesterday, but I fell asleep during the movie we watched, and I wasn't feeling good, and now I'm just sleepy.
Good, because then we're going to dive into that first. So today, we're on episode 66, and we're going to be going over a movie that she fell asleep on, but, pretty much saw everything, called Bloody Hell.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. And then we're going to go over the newest episode of Invincible and Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Oh, and I'm also going to be talking about a game that just came out that I started playing that was pretty good. So we're going to have some fun with these today.
Before we even talk about your
What?
thing, I just want to say, and we're not going to talk deep about this, Hulu doesn't really have much that's great right now, but we still have Hulu. And I watched that show called The Great. It's Elle Fanning and Nicholas Hoult. You watched a little bit of it while I was watching it. It was about Captain the Great. Really simple, 10-episode show. If you want something that's somewhat implied history, but from its own version and just funny and chaotic, then I would suggest that. But we won't dive deep into this because I just wanted to put that out there. And I finished the season today, and I was very upset.
What? It was just one season, basically, or what was the deal?
Yeah, it's one season, 10 episodes, and I haven't. They said season 2 is eventually coming, but with COVID, right? Because last year was April is when things started getting shut down, right? So a lot of things had already pre-filmed to come out that season. I think a lot of things are delayed this year because of that. The movie that we're going to be watching this week, what's it called? Horns, the Wendigo movie, right?
Oh, is that
Antlers.
what we're watching?
Antlers.
I thought we were going to watch the Unholy movie.
No, I mean, we can watch that.
Morgan,
we can watch that too, but I'm saying, the Antlers movie, I think, was supposed to come out last year. Quiet Place was supposed to come out last year, and it didn't. So I think with that being said, a lot of things are just getting pushed back, especially film. And so it will be nice when we watch
the fucking Black Widow movie. Pushed back until eternity,
22?
It felt like.
When does it come out? 22? Or is it this year?
No, it comes out this year.
Oh, yeah? When? Summer?
I believe it's in 2 months.
Nice.
I gotta double check. I really haven't looked into it because I've been pissed off about it, so I've been ignoring it purposely.
They've been putting their stuff nicely together. Every couple months or something else.
Whoa. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but our dogs are running around like maniacs.
I think it's just Ouija.
Just Ouija, yeah, probably.
She does this thing where, if there's a toy that's smaller than her, she'll, try to run and, grab it with her paws, but because it's so small, she can't reach it like a big toy, so then she just does all that noise, if you can hear it, where she just throws her body around the house, so.
Yeah. Well, either way, let's get into this. Let's see what we got. Let's start right out with the movie we watched, which is Bloody Hell. And I don't know if you're supposed to say it like an accent.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking, bloody hell or something like that. I'm not good at the accents, but okay. So basically, this movie is pretty interesting. It's kind of almost like one of those not breaking the fourth wall type deal, but it's a situation where this guy talks to himself and another version of him comes up next to him or near him. And basically, he communicates with himself, but obviously nobody hears the other voice talking. They only hear him talking in his body, not the other guy. And basically, what this movie is this guy, I guess, is ex-military. And he gets in a situation where he goes to a bank, and the bank is about to get robbed. And there's a bunch of people. They kill one of the people in there. They're violent, they have masks on, the whole deal, and he decides to retaliate and kills all of them pretty much. And basically what had happened is one of the civilians dies in the crossfire or whatever, and so he ends up going to jail, catches a case on this, so he ends up going to jail. I think it's 8 years. He gets out and he's like, you know what I want to do? I want to go to Finland. Why? No reason, basically. And then this dude goes to Finland, and as soon as he gets there, he's at the airport, and these weirdos, this weird old couple's looking at him all funny, And this dude straight up, and this other extra creepy guy who like you automatically you think is super sus, comes right up and's like, oh, those people want to get you. And he's like, what are you even talking about? And at this point, this dude's like famous for this whole situation with him going to jail because it was all on video, it was all over the internet, and they claim he's a hero that ended up going to prison basically because
But
he
then
saved.
obviously some people don't feel that way too.
Yeah. At the same time, because another person did die in the crossfire, which maybe could have been avoided, but they did kill somebody when they came in. But either way, that's a whole debate in itself. And this whole deal, right? Like, he goes to the bathroom, he's trying to ignore the whole situation with the creepy people, and then right away, like, the creepy dude is right in the bathroom. And of course he's talking to himself, so the other version of himself is like, dude, are you kidding? Like, are these guys creepy fans or what, you know? So my man gets a cab and he's ready to roll out, I guess go to a hotel or whatever. And apparently one of the creepy dudes is the cab driver and gasses the back of it, and he wakes up in a basement, right? And right off the bat, my man wakes up in a basement and his leg is cut off already. Mm-hmm. And he's like, are you fucking kidding me? So that's a whole thing.
And he's
talking
being hung too, no?
Yeah, he's strung up in a basement, like by his arms.
Which
like
is
this,
already
you know?
exhausting as fuck, and then you look down and not see your leg there. Like,
yeah, so, and he's talking to himself and basically like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of here? And this is one of the funniest things, basically, in the intro of this movie, is when he's like, well, the intro of him being in this basement by this family. This family is basically going to eat him. And it's like a family of like 8 like really freaky looking people, and this little kid, he seems like he's like kind of innocent, like an 8-year-old kid, in the middle of the night, I guess, hears him. So he decides to go in the basement and check what's going on, and sees him, and he's like trying to, I guess, like schmooze the kid and be like, hey, like, you know, help me out here, kid. I don't know why I turned it into some old man talk. Like, well, either way, he's trying to make a deal with this kid to get free, right? And the fucking kid comes over, and I didn't see this coming at all. My man straight up knees the kid in the face and like busts his nose, knocks him straight unconscious, and then captures him right between his legs in like a chokehold.
For somebody who has like a missing leg, he managed to do that very well. So you could tell that he's obviously skilled.
Yeah. And it's out of control. And I love movies that aren't afraid to, like, kick the crap out of a little kid. Because, you know, in an extreme scenario, everybody's getting it. Old, young, it don't matter.
That's why Cooties is so good. Because it's literally, like, zombie children. And then you're just, like, not that you want to see, like, some kids getting beat up. But, like, even in, like, a video game, right? Like, the concept of, like, I know it sounds messed up. But the concept of, like, a child death is so foreign in those. Like, they put it so it doesn't happen. So when it happens, it's kind of like, oh, shit, they're doing that.
Yeah, I loved it. That part was so funny. And this guy, like, he's an interesting guy. He's his character's very much almost like a weird, like, sometimes he reminds me of like Robert Downey Jr. or something. Maybe it's the way he looks or something like that, but also some of the way he talks, like his mannerisms too.
He's like charismatic with it.
Yeah.
Almost.
And he's like fighting with himself, and the other version of himself when he talks to himself is pretty extreme as well. And, you know, one thing leads to another, and after he knocks this kid out, a girl from upstairs comes looking for him and decides, like, you know, she's going to try to work out a deal to get the kid. And one thing leads to another, and basically he's trying to free himself, and the family is trying to tend to this kid, and so they're distracted, and while that's happening, he has to free himself and escape. And it becomes pretty nuts because basically he, you know, at one point, you know, he frees himself, and you see it right in the trailer, you know, he's got to like fight all these people. So then he gears up with whatever he can find in this basement full of other dead people's stuff of what he's going to do and how he's going to get out. And it's pretty funny. It's action packed. It's not like entirely action packed. It's a lot of him like in his weird reflection talking to himself in these extreme moments. So it's got a lot of slower moments too, but they're funny and it's pretty enjoyable. But then like the extreme parts are pretty interesting and like pretty badass. Like they're pretty gruesome about a lot of it. So it's awesome. I definitely enjoyed a lot of it. It's not like an amazing movie, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty good. and the actor is pretty good. The whole like goofy premise, they at least I feel like they dive right into it right away. They're like, oh, those people are gonna get you, and then they get him, and then right away he wakes up and his leg's already cut off. It's not even like he's awaiting to be tortured. Nothing. It's already happened. His leg has been cut off. They're probably munching on it at this point, and then he's freaking out trying to get out. And I guess luckily, because he's this like ex-military guy, and then he had spent 8 years in prison and all this stuff, he's like a fairly like toughened up guy to where he's like, I'm gonna get through this. And that for a while, my man's trying to chew the rope, like pulling himself up, gnawing on the rope, thinking he's gonna get out. And then obviously some other things happen, and he gets like a knife, and then he gets all kinds of weapons he puts in a backpack when he finally gets. There's all kinds of stuff that happens, and it's pretty fun to watch him, I guess, try to escape and try to like MacGyver his way out of the situation. What did you think?
I mean, I was asleep until I was awake for when he was going to Sweden, and then fell asleep, and then woke up when he was hung in the basement. I'm sorry, Finland. I was watching a show that was talking about Sweden today. So if he gets to Finland, I was asleep. I wake up, he's being hung in the basement. So I don't know if there was anything in between then. I saw a couple scenes with him and this lady, and then I woke up for the ending. And that was it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, the ending is pretty funny though, I gotta say. Like that was awesome. Yeah, and they're in like Helsinki, Finland. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. I've been there before. It's really nice.
Oh, you have been there, right? You said, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and so it's just really funny. Obviously, they don't really go into any like specific areas or scenery or anything. It's like right from the airport to these people's house. Like, he doesn't even get an opportunity to go see the sights, to get to his hotel. Nothing. My man is just abducted right off the bat. And it's pretty funny, like, when the really creepy guy that looks like he would abduct you comes up to you and says, hey, those two creeps over there are talking about abducting you. And he's like, well, they're just like, what does he say? He's like, oh, they're gonna get you. They're trying to get you. And he's like, what do you even mean, dude? Like, for real? And the whole time it's funny because this guy's like talking shit and cracking jokes, whether he's talking to them in person or to himself, and nobody can hear it. And it's pretty funny, like, throughout the movie, because he says all kinds of goofy shit. Even after, like, he, ends up killing somebody or something, like, he even has, like, moments of reflection and makes fun of himself for, like, whatever line he said before he killed them or after he killed them. So, like, there's a couple funny moments like that I really enjoyed as well. I would give this movie, I would say, like, a solid 8.5. Like, it was pretty enjoyable for me all the way through. There was a couple, like, slower moments where he's, like, doing this banter and stuff, but I feel like they made up for it by making it pretty funny.
It's, like, kind of cringy to watch at times. Like, it's definitely a movie that doesn't, I don't think it tries to be good. Like, it's definitely playful, and it's definitely, like, humorous. Like, I think it's, like, an uncomfortable humor movie. Like, I don't think it sends out to be, like, a great horror movie or, like, a great comedy or something. Like, it's just, like, a joke movie almost, Yeah,
I would say it's definitely, like, a horror comedy.
Yeah, but, like,
for sure, and they don't take themselves seriously.
It's not like
right.
a Shaun of the Dead, and it's not like a horror comedy that I enjoy. I think it's a little bit more cringy than that. It's definitely B-rate, which is totally fine because we like that stuff. But I didn't watch it all the way through, so I can't rate it. However, the scenes I watched were pretty interesting. The like thing they were feeding just looked like Sloth from Goonies.
Oh my God! Yeah, the brother that I guess has this insatiable hunger that they have to, appease him by killing people for him and stuff like that. Which is pretty funny because at one point you see, like, I guess the dad, or I don't know who's who in this family because some of these people are old, quite a few of them, and like I guess I could tell who the husband and wife are, but otherwise, like, I don't know if there's like the weird uncle, like these weird nephews that are like easily 30, 40 years old. Like, I don't know, man. It's so bizarre. And then the young girl and the little kid, obviously. But, it's... yeah, the dude's like a weird sloth-looking thing, for sure. you know. But that was pretty funny. That whole like ending scene where he's got to like fight the family and stuff was way different than I had expected. The way it played out, but it was pretty funny. I enjoyed it a lot. And yeah, like you said, they're just having fun. I feel like with this, they're not taking themselves seriously, at least from what we, you know, get from this movie. And it's good. Like, I enjoyed just watching it. Like, obviously it's nothing serious. The story's nothing serious, but it's just really fun. And I had a good time with it. And it's not like a horror movie. It's definitely like way more towards comedy than horror. But they have some really good gory scenes and some cool horror-esque moments that obviously they make funny the whole time. So yeah, that's what I would definitely say to check this one out. We bought this one on iTunes. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere right now, but I would definitely check maybe Shudder, because apparently every time we buy something, Shudder half the time has it when it comes to horror movies. So there's that. But yeah, that one was pretty cool. And so now let's dive into, we'll go to Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because everybody's been talking about the crazy sins of U.S. agent, you know, bloodying up that shield. Everybody's upset. The shield's been bloodied. What did you think
I
of
would
that?
be upset too, because it's a fucking disgrace. Like, the whole thing with Captain America is he's literally like the symbol of hope and peace for America, and he's this fucking great guy who's fantastic and hot. And then you put this shitty fucking dude who's like clearly needs therapy into the outfit. I don't know. So okay, last episode whack. The show mediocre. This episode pretty good. I think it's probably the better of the 4 episodes.
I thought it was okay. Like, I thought it was a decent episode. Well, obviously, there's a couple things I'm like, whatever about that they've been kind of doing in the past couple episodes.
Yeah, but when the rest of the show isn't great, this is a pretty good episode. Wouldn't you say? What do you think is the best episode so far?
So far,
maybe 2.
Maybe 2. Yeah. But this one had some decent little like fight
great
scenes.
Zemo scenes. You got all the stuff with Wakanda, which is really cool.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's just a cohesively good episode that touches all the points of like the topics that we're interested in with this series, which to be honest isn't a lot, but
yeah, I just feel like with this episode, my highlights of the episode weren't any of the main characters that drive the story.
No,
like that's why I feel like it's not like my favorite.
No, Zemo in this, great. I would rather have a spin-off of him just doing crime, and then it's like Bucky and Sam have to come over, good cop, bad cop, and like get him out of something and like use him for something else. And I'd rather it just be like this like buddy cop thing with him at this point, because it's like he's the most fun. Our main villain, like, what's her name, Carly, she's okay. I
can't stand her. I hate the flag smasher.
No, I just think it's
the group thing.
I just think it's corny. I get the concept. I just think it's a little like, in comparison to like what we got for WandaVision, it's hard for me to be like, this is a great concept. The concept of like losing Captain America and like choosing to not like be that symbol and choosing to like basically let the government like make this fucking bootleg Captain America.
Bootleg Cap.
Like, that's a great concept in itself, I think. But I mean, the dude needs therapy. There's a part in this episode where he has a conversation with his buddy, Mr. Stripe and Banner, whatever his name is.
Mr. Stripe and Banner.
What's his name?
There's a good name. No, his name is Battlestar.
Oh, Battlestar. I was like, Stripesy? That's from
Stargirl.
From Stargirl, yeah. So they have a conversation where it's clearly like this dude needs therapy, and he's like, I have these purple hearts. Is that what it's called? The purple hearts or the medals?
Yeah, he's got medals.
He's
and
got
all
3 of them.
Stuff.
He's like, and you know what we went through to have to get this, like, and I have to wear this as it's a badge of honor, even though what happened, which is true. Like what the general military goes through is really fucked up, but to try and put that into you're now Captain America is crazy. This dude, this whole episode goes around this like super serum. And this dude?
Yeah, so I'm going to give you guys a summary of the entire episode, basically.
Why? I want to talk all over the place.
Well, yeah, we'll dive into that. But
no.
I wrote literally a short, not even a paragraph summary of what happened, just to get everybody into it so we could dive into the stuff we want to talk about.
No.
So it starts out, and Io comes back for Zemo, with the Dora Milaje, right? I even write stuff in the way it would sound because I don't know how to spell that. And they give Bucky 8 hours, basically, to give Zemo back. And then it goes to, like, Zemo with them, and he's kind of comparing, like, the Flag Smashers and the Avengers to, like, basically the Nazis. And Hydra and all that stuff. And then after that, it goes to a point where the Flag Smashers are on the news for blowing up the GRC building. So everybody obviously knows now these are full-blown terrorists, they're murderers, the whole deal. And it puts a really bad light on their whole plan. And obviously they up enforcement once this happens, And then it goes right then to U.S. Agent and Battlestar, or Stripes and Banners, right? They go and they're barging in on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, right? And they ruin the interaction they were going to have trying to work out, I guess, some kind of deal with Carly from the Flag Smashers, right? And she ends up getting shot by Zemo, and U.S. Agent gets the serum at the end because Zemo, like, ends up destroying a bunch of them. Carly runs, and then U.S. Agent finds the last remaining one, and he snatches it, right? And then he storms in on them guys again later to get Zemo, and the Dora Milaje come in and end up whooping him. And I guess at this point, he didn't really take the serum because he gets his ass handed to him. And after that, the Flag Smashers try to kill the U.S. Agent, right? And they kidnap Battlestar, but Agent's got that serum, And he starts whooping the crap out of people, and he can't really, like, get a gauge on how his, power is starting to work as it's starting to kick in all kind of wild. And then Battlestar ends up trying to save him at one point, and Carly ends up just killing him. And Agent loses it and chases the one guy down, and that's Carly's, like, right-hand man that ends up killing him. And that's where all the big drama with the shield comes up. And I skipped over a couple little parts that also happened in the episode, but that's, like, the main gist of the important stuff that happens. Right? Wouldn't you say?
I have mixed feelings.
Okay, well then explain to me what your mixed feelings are here with this.
Everything.
Well, yeah, I can agree. There's some problems with this show, for sure. But what are your issues with that?
In particular, or would you like some pros and cons? Because I want to give my pros and cons.
Go ahead, do it.
Okay.
Do what you want.
Pros. I like the way that, I'm so sorry. What was her name from Wakanda?
Io.
I almost said Olay. That is not it.
That is definitely not it.
I love the flashback to Wakanda, like getting to kind of see, because we don't really get to see, like, when Bucky was in Wakanda like that ever, so I think having a little moment like that was kind of cool. But granted, it was small. It obviously showed you that they had a good connection on some level. So when she shows up to town, the way that it happens is, like, pretty cool, and I enjoyed that a lot. The fight sequence with them later on in the show, fantastic. Really, really, really like that. Zemo, anything with the little candies? Turkish delight.
Oh, fucking convincing that kid to talk to him, basically being
so
like,
smart.
don't trust these guys. I got the candy.
Yeah.
Which is also weird.
When the rest of them...
Because you tell every kid,
yeah,
don't talk to strangers with candy, and they do it right away.
Yeah.
He tricks them with the worst trick in the book.
I mean, that is it. But it's crazy because you see, like, Sam and Bucky going in, trying to do their thing as, like, to interview the situation, and meanwhile the actual criminal, like, gets away with it faster. I really liked... What else did I like? I don't know. Mostly it was, like, the Wakanda stuff, some Bucky stuff. The fight sequence where, like, she takes his arm off. Crazy.
Yeah, she's like, oh, what's this? You want to see a cool pressure point? And she's like, beep, beep, beep. And then his arm just pops right off.
Well, technically, they really betrayed his trust by taking Zemo out like that. But Zemo also just dips out in a manhole and is like, peace.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and they definitely, like, make a reference. They're like, did he just, like, El Chapo us kind of deal?
Yeah.
Like, my man just goes into a fucking sewer drain and disappears.
Things that I love to hate, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Bootleg Cap taking the serum. I knew it was going to happen at some point. It finally happened. When he actually takes the serum, you see, like, how he's acting. You know it's going to end badly. I had read before we watched this episode about what happens with the shield. Like, everybody's upset. I didn't realize it happened in a public space like that. Like, I thought it was, like, right after the guy died, he retaliated.
Yeah, and they world starred it, basically.
They straight up took videos and everything, and that was, like, really, really, like, obviously, the Avengers aren't the best at, like, not spilling blood and blowing up buildings and all this stuff, but it's never, like, to a fucking human, and it's never to, like, I guess they have the super power, what's it called? The serum?
What? The serum, yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's, like, it's a different level of, like, quote unquote being the bad guy. So to, like, brutally murder this essential human in a fucking space like that was really crazy. And the blood on the shield was something I don't think anybody was gonna see, and it happened, and it was real gross and real sad, and I hated it.
Yeah, I mean, but I actually, one of the things I can say about the show is I do like his character, and everybody doesn't like him and hate him, but, like, I think that's the whole point, that we get the Joffrey kind of feel with him. And that's good. That means they're succeeding, at least, in making a fairly believable villain out of the guy.
They want you to hate him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, this poor dude in real life is getting, like, death threats for, like, being a good actor.
Yeah, just like all the other characters that people hate in shows. Like, I'm sure the guy who played Ramses, I'm sure he got him.
Oh my god.
Joffrey.
Ramsey probably got the most shit.
But he don't care, I feel like.
Ramsey,
like, that dude seems cool.
He was in Misfits, no? Was that not the same guy?
Yeah.
I loved him.
Yeah, he seems pretty good in a lot of things. The kid who played Joffrey, though, I think he stopped acting after that. I think that was probably a lot.
I think he
for
did.
A young dude, yeah. So, but still, like, this guy, he's getting a lot of hate, you know, from, you know, the typical people out there that forget that that's not real life, and he's not really, like, a villain guy. I mean, maybe. We don't know him in his personal life. He could really be U.S. agent.
We should do, like, a ranking thing of all Game of Thrones characters, because
it's too late. It's over now.
I think about Theon Greyjoy, and I don't know what we did to deserve his character at the end, and I'm just emotional thinking about it.
Whatever.
They ruined the show.
Yeah. Well, back to Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I'm still upset years later.
Yeah.
How many years has it been? Like 2, 3?
Yeah, quite a bit now at this point.
Fuck.
Well, I think at least I'm glad in this episode that they show U.S. Agent finally taking the serum. I don't think they're ever going to have Falcon take the serum. No. And he doesn't in the comics either.
I don't think it's him.
So I think that maybe what they'll do is
they cut the shield in half.
Obviously, Bucky already has the serum, so they're going to leave it at that.
I got it. Cut the shield in half. Each of them gets a piece.
And they'll each, like, have it on their forearms.
Yeah, and then they jump in the air.
Jump and combine it,
and
like
it'll combine, and
Twin.
they do, like, a spin
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, it'll be like Wonder Twin
Marvel,
powers.
Call me.
That sounds awful. So don't ever do that one.
They can spin in the air while
yeah, right.
It's good.
Then, let's see, what else that I actually like. I don't know. I feel like after they only got 2 episodes left.
That's crazy.
That's it. You get 2 more episodes, and I don't feel like they can wrap this up in a satisfying way.
Well, the thing is,
they're diving into way too much. They still haven't gone into the power broker. They haven't figured out a good end to the Flag Smasher thing now that this is finally starting. It's actually, like, initiating, and unless they're just going to leave it open-ended that it's growing and it'll never stop growing and it'll be an ongoing problem, especially because they're doing the weird group of them rather than the actual Flag Smasher. I don't know. It is what it is.
I don't know what the deal is with, like, so I guess it's also like with streaming services, they have a set budget, and it's not like they're providing to a cable network so they get less episodes. I feel like it has to be something like that, because most television shows are like 20 plus episodes.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking CW wise,
yeah,
they're getting like 20 to 20 something 50-minute episodes.
And these shows are getting like 6 to 10 episodes. And so, like, for WandaVision, it was like, it felt like it was coming to an end like 2 episodes before it happened. And I know that maybe you didn't love it as much as I did, but I thought it was a very, very solid ending. Whereas this, I feel like, what the fuck is the possible outcome to this, and how is it going to tie into, like, Marvel movies, and how, like, does it even make sense? I don't know. Honestly, I would have rather had, like, a little mini Spider-Man series.
Well, this is important for mapping out who's going to also be included in the next gen
Oh, for sure.
phase and what character they're going to be. Obviously, Falcon's probably going to become Captain America.
Yeah, but I wish they just
They're
did
just
it.
giving a story for it, and they haven't given Falcon, just like they haven't given Hawkeye and Widow and all these other characters some of the origin stories that others have gotten, and others have gotten multiple movies now. So I think they're trying to give a chance to dive into some of them and develop those characters. And except for Hawkeye, I feel like they're dumping him completely, and they're just going to use the daughter for the next phase. And this show is going to be to transition that, I'm assuming. So some things I feel like, are just going to be to, I guess, kill off the character and bring in the new character. And some of them are to show the development of a character they just haven't touched base on, really, and to give you some filler stuff. And to kind of, I guess, jog you for present day and let you know, like, what else is going on in present day. Because otherwise, we don't know what the hell's going on after the blip and the whatever and all this stuff. They don't really touch base on that. So I guess we do get to see a little bit of that in this, which is also good if you're into that kind of thing. Also, we still have to find out who the hell the power broker is. A lot of people saying it could be Sharon. I don't know. She's kind of sus, honestly. And I don't know how she feels about everybody. She seems a little pissed, and she got a lot of that underground money from doing God knows what. So there's also that. Decent episode, though. Like you said, probably one of the better episodes for sure.
Not saying a lot.
But we got 2 episodes left, guys, and I don't think they can do it, but we'll see. We'll see if it's any good. I mean, honestly, I'm not as happy with the WandaVision ending either and how short that was. So I'm really hoping this one could really at least do some epic scenes, like a crazy battle, something really big and fun would be great. Now, let's dive into Invincible, because this show I feel like has been consistently good so far. This is up there with Superman and Lois for me. This is a pretty good one. What do you think? Are you enjoying this cartoon so far?
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Yeah. This one I also gave a little summary for notes because I feel like there's a lot of stories and side stories going on with these shows we've been watching in this whole superhero universe crap. So let me just give you the little gist of this episode, right? It starts out with that villain you saw early on, the Rock guy. His name is Titan. And he's stealing a lot to pay off some debts to a guy named Machine Head, right? And then it goes over, and Invincible, he's having his daily life troubles, fighting crime. He ends up quitting his job. He's having trouble with Amber, the typical whatever. Then it goes back to Titan, right? And he can't get out of working for Machine Head anymore, even though he paid off his debt. So he's and he's ended up stealing a probability chip for this guy who has the ability to put stuff into his brain, like chips and all this stuff, and add it to, I guess, his brain power, whatever. And but I guess Titan decides to rebel, right? And he's going to get Invincible to help take him down, right? So he goes and propositions him. Or goes to proposition him, let's say. Then they show Robot Dude, and he's getting the Mahler twins to help him with the blood samples he took from the previous episodes, right? Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, there's some crazy shit going on because Invincible's mom finds Nolan's bloody costume. So, she knows shit went down, and she doesn't know what, and she's about to try to find out, right? And so then back to Invincible, and he decides to help Titan fight, right? So they go off to fight Machine Head, and they end up getting ambushed by Machine Head's syndicate of criminals, right? And they're getting their asses handed to them, and then the Guardians of the Globe come to help, and Battle Beast from the Machine Head syndicate just literally whoops the hell out of them, nearly kills Monster Girl, nearly kills Invincible. I mean, nearly kills Black Samson. I mean, that was brutal what happened, right? And then he just dips off. He's like, you guys aren't worth my time, right? So it's pretty bad at that point. But then they still end up managing to sense quite a few of them. Well, pretty much everybody seems to be alive, kind of, barely. like they managed to still catch Machine Head, right? And Nolan ended up watching this whole thing from the sky. And then after that, like, he's pretty much like almost dead. They see Cecil comes up and takes a blood test off of Invincible, I guess, to try to figure out what they're going to do to fight Omni-Man or Invincible. So this episode's pretty crazy, and it's got a lot of like badass action scenes. I mean, like the scene with Titan like going and robbing people for money, and he's fighting all these goons and they're shooting at him, is pretty awesome stuff. It reminds you of, like, I don't know, like Iron Man / like Luke Cage type of thing. Like it's all pretty cool. And then when you see the big fight though, when you see the Guardians, right, fight with everybody, like that shit is crazy. And all those villains,
it's intense.
Yeah, they're
There's
very
a part
much
where
like,
they smack his fucking head and it looks like he's done.
yeah, it's so bad. Like, and at one point you see was it Black Samson, right, go and try to attack Battle Beast with none of his armor working anymore, and Battle Beast just snatches his fist and just breaks his hand right off of his body, and then smashes him to the ground and throws him across the room, and he just lays there like putty. Like, I would figure you'd be dead after that, because if he literally ripped his arm off and like he was hitting people to the point where he was like he hit the monster from Monster Girl or whatever, with rocks, and like literally ripped the thing's face off and all that. Like, it's crazy. I mean, it's a pretty gnarly episode where there's tons of action going on, and it's pretty badass overall, and you get a good scope on what villains are out there that obviously they're gonna still have a lot of trouble with in the future. I mean, anybody who's familiar with the comic knows that Battle Beast is a whole nother level of issues that I don't think they're going to touch base on really for quite a long time. Because I was thinking at that point that if Invincible's dad was watching, that he would jump in when Battle Beast was there. But then also, you know, I guess, you know, also with the way the comic plays out and stuff, I guess it has to play out a certain way. Or it doesn't. You know, they've changed a lot too, so like a lot of stuff is different, obviously. Like, I'm interested to see the Robot Man thing with him trying to experiment and getting the Muller twins to help, because you see them clone each other finally, and all that whole thing, which is pretty funny. What do you think about that whole thing? Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have strong opinions. I have strong opinions.
Well, then tell me about it.
What is the name of the character we get introduced to in this episode?
Titan.
Is it Titan?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Because I get confused with that and the robot face one.
That's Machine Head.
Oh,
I already
Machine
went
Head.
over all this. If you paid attention
I was
to my
listening,
my
but
notes.
you said a lot of stuff. I really like this Titan character, and I like the way that this episode ended with them. I want to throw that out there first off. I think the premise of this character story is cool, and I'm wondering if it's going to tie into more scenarios based on how that like ending was. I liked what else happened this episode. I really liked. I would like more answers on Omni-Man. I don't know how quickly we're actually going to get them, considering his wife is investigating too much. Do you think he's going to kill her?
No, I don't think he would
her?
kill his wife at all.
I think he
that's gonna
fucking
happen.
will to like protect.
No.
You don't think
I think
he would
the
kill his
only
wife?
way he even cares enough to hide anything is because of her and the kid. I think at this point, because of what Nolan is, I think that he literally only does anything out of any mercy in existence because his family exists.
But what
think.
if she goes to expose him and like starts like working with the Cecil or something? You don't think he'll just
working with the Cecil?
You don't think he'll just fucking kill her?
I mean, no, not at all.
So.
I think he'd kill Cecil and everybody else, and then he'd be like, now you have no one to work with. And I think he would treat her more like she's like damn near a slave and like an accessory to him. You know what I mean? I think that's his whole MO.
What's her name? Deborah.
Yeah, and I think I write it as Debbie in my notes. But yeah, she's interesting, and she also has the Notebook. you know, from Devil Guy,
Yeah.
from the demon dude, demon dog, doggy dude, devil doggy, whatever his name is, you know what I mean? But so I'm hoping he comes back too, or at least just gives her enough information to uncover this whole situation. And but like I was saying before, I think that I'm really interested in Robot Man's whole story with the
Yes.
samples, with the
Hell
Muller
yeah.
twins. I want to see. They obviously already showed him in the tank, the weird slime, funky, distorted baby thing. You know, spoiler for that. My bad. If you're familiar with the comics, that is him in that tank, and he's basically operating and controlling the robot with his mind. There's nothing in the robot. And so basically he's trying to become human, and I think at the same time he's trying to help Monster Girl. But he also did take a sample of Rex, and if you're familiar with what happens in the comics, you would know why he did that as well.
What, are you reading comics, or are you just watching videos on comic stuff?
What?
You're saying if you read things on the comics, you
Well, I read into some of this, like, summaries of stuff and, like, information about certain characters, and it tells you more than, you know, you want to know sometimes, especially in
I know.
relation.
I'm looking at comic stuff right now as you're talking.
Oh, really? So
I was looking to see if Deborah died or not. I have a
oh,
theory.
to see if that happened? What does it say?
Nothing.
Oh, snap.
Oh my God, bless you. Too loud.
No, it's not.
It hurt my ear. Sneeze away from the thing. Oh my gosh. No.
Whoa!
Oh my God. Even
Sneeze master coming at you.
Yeah, fucking people with headphones. I'm sorry for the screams and the sneezes you just got from this man.
I sneezed a lot. Well, either way, it's because I'm allergic to the nonsense of Debbie dying. She's not gonna die. I can bet on that. I feel like that's the only.
There's someone else who dies,
Hey.
according to Wikipedia.
Don't trust the Wikipedias, guys. It doesn't tell you proper informations. Well, actually, it tells you a lot of good information. I would say Wikipedia, for the most part, has a lot of good stuff on there.
It's telling me all the good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely know about some people that die, some, like, important people. But I'm not going to tell you. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to stray away from that. And I would say, overall, this was a great episode. Very good. This has been the best thing to watch so far for us, I would say, out of everything that we watched this week.
Yes, it's quite good. If you haven't watched it already, it's already on Amazon Prime for free. If you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it on there, which is really, really great. I've said it before, but it's a Robert Kirkman show, and if you if you like his work, I don't know if it's an Image. I thought it was Image Comics, but I'm pretty sure it's on Skybound. So if you want to read it, the comic is done, so you can get yourself a chance to check it out if you want to kind of see what's happening. Some things have changed, obviously, a little bit more formatted for television, but overall, it's probably one of the better things we've watched lately. And I'm happy to have a more, like, adult-style comic book show that's animated. That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty good, for sure. And it's I'm very excited to see where this one goes, and we'll obviously get a lot more episodes out of it than we are with the Disney shows right now. But before we end this episode, I got another thing I want to go over that I've been playing, a game, actually. We haven't really been going over any games, like, at all. But let's see. This game is called Wonder Box. I'm an Apple Arcade guy, and I've gone over a couple things that I've played on Apple Arcade before. And I've been playing Wonder Box, and, you know, I use, like, a PlayStation controller or whatever when I play on my iPad here. And it's like a game where you have, like, you could go and do an adventure. There's, like, a little campaign where you can play little stories, and they got a bunch of big worlds to go through, and everything's done in these weird, like, box grid systems with the level design inside of them, and it's third person, and you can rotate the camera, and it's a mix of the look and feel of the style of like a Animal Crossing on steroids, basically, but with the ability to free move the camera as you navigate. And you can, like, fight monsters and solve puzzles and adventure around and find treasure and all that kind of stuff. Then there's a community aspect where people can actually, like, build their own worlds, their own levels, all that kind of stuff. You can customize your own characters. There's a lot of cool stuff to do in this, and like Apple just released like 30 something new games to Apple Arcade. They got like almost 200 games now on the Apple Arcade, and I'm going to start playing a lot of them. The next one I'm playing right now is called World of Demons. Very cool. The art style is awesome. But if you get a chance to check out this Wonder Box, this game is really fun, and I recommend it to anybody who likes like world builder type stuff. If you like the Animal Crossing, where you can, you know, make all the little town and put characters in it, you could do all that in this. You can also make your own levels, worlds. You could do all that fun stuff. You can play other people's. It's just really cool little game, and it's actually got a decently long amount of playtime, a lot of replayability in general. Definitely check that out. And that about wraps it up for today's episode. I'll let you do a little ender on this.
Yeah, I didn't really mention our Instagram today, but we're over on our Instagram as Pod for the Recently Released. I sometimes put clips of us doing live episodes. I put memes up. I ask questions for you guys where I want to know what you want to hear. So if you'd like to check us out, we are Pod for the Recently Released on there. You can also check us out at podcastfortherecentlyreleased.com to find all the different ways you can listen to us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Stitcher, anything you can think of is directly through there, as well as our YouTube link. We upload every Wednesday. You can check us out right on YouTube for full videos. You can check us out in the studio, see our faces, or listen directly through one of the links I provided on our website. There's also links to our web stores, our individual social media, and our merch. So check out podcastfortherecentlyreleased.com.
Yeah, booyah. That's
end.
right. And like she said, YouTube on Wednesdays, 10 a.m. is usually when we always air this. We schedule to air at that time.
And
Definitely
then,
check it out. And then after that, we update to all of our other
generally
platforms.
Like 10 a.m. is when we're on YouTube, and then from 12 p.m. on is like when it's uploaded everywhere else.
Boom. So that's that, folks. You guys have a good night. We're going to make like lepers and peel out, you know, or like make like belly buttons and be outie.
You're saying have a good night as if people aren't watching this in the daytime or doing anything else.
That's true. But you know what I mean? Like, because like I said, we schedule it to air Wednesday at 10 a.m. You really think we want to be up early in the morning doing this?
Yeah, but
right?
What if they're waking up and they're listening to us and you're saying have a good night and it's only 11 o'clock and during the day?
Oh, well, then have a good morning.
Yeah.
Bam. Have a good morning, noon, and night.
Goodbye.
All the time. Good times, all the times. Thanks for listening to yet another episode of Podcast for the Recently Released. If you want to peep some of our older episodes, we've got a ton of them. Just check us out on podcastfortherecentlyreleased.com. We've got merch, older episodes, links for other ways to listen to us, and more. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Don't let your meatloaf. Stay safe out there, guys.